Jason is gonna love these custom antique cufflinks. Jason, you're about to marry that commoner hillbilly. Are you still gonna touch me after this?
Marry her? Baby, did you really think I'd settle for that broke bitch? If the old man didn't think she was docile, I wouldn't even touch her. She disgusts me.
What about her dad's bankrupt, pathetical company? Are you really going to dump $5 million into it?
$5 million in her dreams. As soon as the vows are exchanged and I get the family trust, I'll cut off all her father's funding tomorrow. My whole family beg on the streets.
You disgusting pieces of trash!
Since you saw, I won't pretend. The wedding goes on, but you won't get a cent.
Move aside, bride. No joke.
Miss Ivy, your mother's surgery payment bounced. If not paid immediately, the surgery will be terminated.
Trying to run? You'll play your part today.
Let me go! I'll tell everyone about you two!
Everyone! The wedding is canceled. I, Jason Rockefeller, will never marry a promiscuous cheap scammer who tried to extort $5 million from me.
No! It was him and Chloe in the dressing room! Cousin, how could you slander us? You were the one seducing some old man last night to pay off your dad's debt!
Ivy, want to fight me? The $5 million funding for your father's company is canceled. Get ready to visit your useless dad in prison.
Hello?
Miss Ivy, payment for your mother's heart surgery bounced. If not paid immediately, we will terminate in 5 minutes.
Well, Uncle Alexander. Shouldn't your sickly body be lying in the mansion waiting to die? What are you doing here?
$5 million for your company's bad jets, plus your mother's surgery fave. How much do you need in total?
What do you mean?
Marry me. Right now. I will have $50 million transferred to your account immediately.
Are you insane? She is my sloppy seconds.
I do.
Continue the vows. Now she is my bride.
I now pronounce you...
Shameless slut! You were just clinging to Jason and now you're climbing into his uncle's bed. You're nothing but a gold-digging whore!
Shut your filthy mouth, Chloe. According to the Rockefeller family rules, you should be using an honorary with me now. Jason, and you too, Chloe. Bow your heads right now and call me Auntie.
In your dreams! Call you auntie? I'd rather die!
Won't say it? Then tomorrow I will cut all your family trust funds. Say it.
Auntie.
Auntie. Why help me?
Get in. It's a transaction.
Auntie.
Auntie.
Miss Ivy, please. The young master is waiting in the study.
Sign it.
What does this mean?
Exactly what it says. A transaction.
Why did you marry me?
Don't misinterpret this situation. Our dynamic is strictly professional. You are a means to counter Jason, a transaction where we both get what we need.
Perfect, Mr. Alexander. I hope you strictly abide by the contract and don't try to cross the clear professional boundary we've established, ever.
Go to sleep early. At the family breakfast table tomorrow morning, the wolves in this house will try to eat you alive. Good luck, my wife.
Just a transaction, I should have known.
Check Jason's recent financial moves. Monitor closely.
From today, I'm not the Ivy who gets pushed around. I'm Alexander's wife, and I'll live my own way.
Alexander, is this the low-class trash you married? Doesn't she even know how to greet her elders?
Ah, regardez cette fille pauvre. Ma chère Kekutan, ton aspect est aussi faux que tes ceux.
Brilliant. Mother, if you continue to lay wild dogs bark and startle my wife, I don't mind throwing her out myself.
Ma chère Ketuk, ton aspect est aussi faux que tes ceux.
Alexander, is this the low-class trash you married? Doesn't she even know how to greet her elders?
Good morning, matriarch. I apologize, I'm new here and not yet familiar with family breakfast etiquette. Please advise.
Regardez cette fille pauvre. Elle ne sait même pas quel couteau utiliser pour le beurre. Une vraie paysanne. Ma chère Cousin, ton accent est aussi faux que tes sous. Et fille pauvre et grématement malo ici. Si tu veux te la jouer aristocrate, retour à l'école, idiote.
Brilliant. Mother, if you continue to let wild dogs bark and startle my wife, I don't mind throwing her out myself.
Fine, sharp-tongued little brab. Tonight is the charity banquet. Let's see how you survive in front of Jang Aristic.
Then please look forward to it, matriarch.
Tonight's banquet won't be easy. Are you ready?
I've never been afraid.
I'll make her lose face at the banquet!
I heard Alexander prepared $1 million couture gown for her.
Oops, Auntie, sorry, this cheap rag fell apart at a touch. Oops, Auntie, I'm so sorry. I was just checking the quality of your dress. Didn't expect it to be so fragile. Get out. Don't dirty my carpet. You think ruining a dress can stop me? You vastly underestimate a woman who climbed up from the bottom. Just wait, Jason. That bitch is going to come down in her pajamas. She'll be the laughingstock of the century.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Alexander Rockefeller and his new bride, Lady Ivy.
You're a little liar full of surprises. But I really don't like the way other men are staring at your back.
What's wrong, Mr. Alexander? Have you fallen in love with your tool?
Ivy, you did all this tonight to attract me. You still love me. You still love me. Ivy, you did all this tonight. Dressed like this on purpose just to get my attention, right? You still love me. You're just getting back at me.
Let me go, you disgusting lunatic! I am your aunt now!
That sick seedling is useless. You were supposed to be my woman.
Didn't I warn you? If you ever dare to touch a single hair on my wife's head again, I will break your bones inch by inch.
You monster! Useless piece of trash! You dare hit me?
Alexander, are you insane? For some low-class woman, you dare to be this vicious? I'm gonna strip you of all your trust funds.
An heir can be replaced anytime, but whoever touches my woman dies.
Thank you.
Remember, you are my wife in name. Protecting you is my duty. Don't overthink it.
I want her dead. Arrange it. Go after Ivy's father's company tomorrow.
What? All frozen? How?
Use Swiss accounts to buy out all supply chains.
Mr. Smith, please give us 3 more days. Hello? Hello?
Listen, activate our offshore shell accounts in Switzerland immediately. Buy out all the supply chains targeted by the Rockefeller family.
Boss, this will expose your identity as the founder of the Shadow Syndicate. Is it worth it?
Just do it. Transfer all property rights to Ivy's father's name free of charge.
Ivy, a miracle. A mysterious syndicate paid off all our debts and bought the entire supply chain. We are saved.
Could it be him? The man everyone calls useless? How many secrets is he hiding?
Something?
Thank you. I know it was you who helped my dad.
Come in.
Why help me? We're just a transaction.
Because you are my wife, even if only in name. I won't let outsiders bully someone under my protection.
I'm dying! Help! It was her! Ivy pushed me down the stairs! My baby! Ivy pushed me down the stairs! My baby!
Chloe! Oh my god, my baby!
It was her! Ivis was jealous I'm carrying Jason's child and pushed me! My baby!
You lying venomous snake. I never left the master bedroom.
Shut up, you murderer!
How dare you murder Rochester family bloodline?
I'm going to kill you, you bitch!
Whoever dares touch her, try.
Alexander, even now you protect this vicious woman?
Murder?
Rockefeller family bloodline? Mother, your judgment, like this woman's acting, is pathetically clumsy.
Cousin, the blood bag color is way too bright. Next time buy a darker shade, more realistic.
You've disgraced the Rockefeller family!
Next time, I'll personally throw her in the river to feed the fish. Let's go back to sleep.
Pawn. Discard after use?
Don't go.
Alexander, what's wrong?
Don't go. Don't betray me.
I'm not leaving. I'm here.
Last night, thank you.
No need to thank me. I'd take care of anyone.
Sir, Miss Chloe is here. Says it's urgent.
Alexander, I'm pregnant with Jason's child, but Ivy, she pushed me on the stairs just now.
Any proof?
The doctor can testify. My baby almost died.
Since there's a doctor witness, let him tell us how much he was paid.
What do you mean? I have witness and proof.
After the deal is done, the remaining $500,000 will be transferred to your Swiss account.
Mercy, sir! Miss Chloe paid me to give false testimony. She wasn't pregnant at all.
You lie! He forced you! Get out! The Rockefeller family has no place for a venomous woman like you!
You saved me again. Thank you.
I told you I won't let anyone bully my wife.
That recording, how did you have it?
In this manner, there are no corners I can't see.
Can I ask you a question about you and Jason's feud?
What do you want to know? Sir, your encrypted mail. I have things to handle. You rest.
Alexander, I need to ask you something.
You went into my study.
This perfect bait, is it me? Am I just a pawn for you to use against Jason?
Yes. In the beginning, I married you to provoke Jason, make him slip so I could cleanse the family.
So all the help, the protection, were just part of the deal?
Yes. You shouldn't have any expectations of me.
Fine, I understand. This is the divorce agreement. I've signed it. From today, we're even.
Police today arrested Business Smith accused of embezzling up to $50 million. $50 million.
Well, look who it is. Our classy little auntie sitting here like a stray dog. What happened? Thought you were tough? Can't even stand now? 500 grand. Enough for your mom's surgery. And maybe a nicer urn. Give it to me.
Want it? Kneel, lick that floor clean, then bark for me 3 times.
Come on, lady. Bark.
Yes, that's it. Let the whole world see what you really are.
My pride or my mother's life.
Hurry up. Don't waste your mom's last few minutes. Say it. Say you're trash.
Kneel.
Back down, and they kill you slower.
What the hell are you doing? You don't want to save your mother? Kneel!
Keep your filthy money.
Are you insane? That was 500,000. You think cornering me means you win? Remember this. If I go to hell, I'm dragging you and Jason down with me.
She's crazy.
Get out. You're gonna regret this.
Alexander, I accept your rules. But this time, we play it my way. What, lost one pawn and drank yourself into the ground?
Why did you come back? Jason's men are everywhere.
Because I realized I can't rip that rabid dog apart alone. Didn't you want the perfect bait? I can be your blade, but from now on you're my ally, not my master.
Do you know what you look like right now?
A lunatic?
Like someone born for a throne. Then let's begin.
Do you know I nearly lost my mind when you walked out that door?
Don't give me guilt. My mom's in the ICU. My dad's still locked up. I don't need your tears. I need your power. Your brain.
Fine. No pity. Just an alliance. At the beginning, yes, I used you. But now, I can't do this without you. If you're going to hell, I'll burn it down with you.
Jason's throwing a victory party at his private villa tomorrow night. The original drive with the fake accounts is locked in a third-floor safe.
Then we steal it.
No. We're gonna hammer the final nail into Jason's coffin.
3 o'clock, 2 armed guards. Don't look at them. Take the spiral stairs on the left.
Copy.
Hey, newbie. Who said you could go upstairs?
Abort. Now.
Turn around. Let me see your face.
I'll send a team in and blow this place open.
No. He'll spook. I got this.
Mr. Jason told me to wait for him in the third-floor guest room. Said he'd skin me alive if I was late.
Oh. So you're the young master's new toy tonight.
Drop it 15. You get 1 shot.
One is all I need.
Cameras are down. 3 minutes. Jason's moving.
Come on.
I'm grabbing something special to show Chloe.
Damn.
Who the hell was in my study? Get out here, I'll blow you full of holes!
Jason Rockefeller, get downstairs. Now!
Got you. Got you.
Not enough. This hurts Jason. It doesn't kill him. His father and the elders will shield him.
We're not missing numbers. We're missing motive. I want the whole world to see how they work together to destroy my father. Wait!
The hidden camera.
On the wedding day, I planted a backup camera in the VIP dressing room.
If it's still there, it has to have them admitting they framed my father.
That's not evidence. That's a nuclear strike. Jason bought the old chapel last week. Demolition's next.
So he's covering his tracks.
Then we go tonight.
This time I bury them myself.
Take the card and go! Now!
Stay close, it could collapse anytime.
It's in that vase.
Haha, Ivy, I knew you'd come. Tonight is your grave. Kill them!
Take the card and go! Now!
I'm not leaving! We die together!
Be good. Live.
You need to rest.
A body was found in the hotel ruins today, preliminarily identified as Alexander Rockefeller.
I'll finish the revenge for you. Jason, Chloe, none will escape.
Oh, the widow returns?
I want to attend the family board meeting. I have evidence that Jason embezzled funds and framed my father.
Evidence? You're an outsider. What right do you have?
This card contains all your criminal records. Tomorrow at the board meeting, everyone will see your true face. Can't let her go to the board tomorrow. Deal with her tonight.
Miss Ivy, we are Mr. Alexander's personal guards. He ordered us to protect you always.
Tomorrow. Let it all end. Tomorrow. Let it all end.
Alexander and that woman died last night.
Her biggest mistake was thinking she could stand against real aristocracy.
I move that Jason be appointed global CEO immediately.
Agreed.
My useless uncle still died before me. This empire was always going to be mine.
Such a shame. Maybe in her next life, Ivy will learn her place.
Then let us begin the final.
That's impossible.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Now it's my turn to run this meeting. The men you sent? All down.
How the hell are you still alive?
Tomorrow I cut off all her father's funding. That 50 million fake account, pin it on her father.
No. It's fake! It's AI!
Tell your cute little AI theory to a judge. The FBI and NYPD already locked down every exit downstairs.
You bitch! Die!
Fire Jason.
If I can't have you, nobody will! You bitch! Die! Ah!
I gave you a chance. Then you pointed a gun at my wife.
Even if you're back, it changes nothing. You've been removed!
Open your damn eyes and read.
The syndicate you worship? 80% is controlled by Nightfall Capital.
And I am Nightfall Capital's sole founder.
I don't need inheritance.
I am the rule.
Federal agents, nobody move. Jason Rockhaller, Chloe Smith, you're under arrest.
No!
It's over.
Thank you, Ivy. Without you, I couldn't have done it.
We're allies and lovers.
What? Confirmed? Jason was ambushed and taken during transport. Chloe is also missing.
What? Who?
His father's men looks like they're ready for a last stand.
Son, don't be afraid. We have a final card. This is the original equity agreement when Alexander founded Nightfall Capital. Destroy this, and he can't prove he's the founder. The family syndicate falls to us. Where is he?
What's their next move?
They'll destroy the key document proving my identity. It's in the family vault. We must get it before them.
What are we waiting for?
Uncle, I knew you'd come. I've been waiting. Today is your death day.
I've been waiting for you to walk into the trap.
You think this is over? Many in the family still support me. You'll never truly control Rockefeller.
Is that so? Then you better look at this.
This is a frame-up. We didn't know.
You don't know what you're doing.
You planned this all along?
From the moment you came back to me, I set the trap. Now, all enemies are gone. You're leaving?
The contract is over. Thank you, Alexander. I'll always remember this.
What if I don't want you to go?
What do you mean?
Ivy, our first wedding was a terrible transaction. But today, I want to propose to you again, simply as a man. Will you marry me, be the love of my life?
I do. This time, it's my own choice.
Will you marry me, be the love of my life?
This time, it's my own choice.
Alexander, do you take Ivy to be your wife, to love and cherish her, in sickness and in health?
I do.
Ivy, do you take Alexander to be your husband, to love and cherish him, in sickness and in health?
I do. Thank you for giving me a real wedding.
I should thank you for staying, for loving me.
It's all your fault! If not for you, I wouldn't be here!
You're just stupid. I'm like this because of you.
From now on, we'll never separate.
Never.
Congratulations, Mr. Alexander. Lady Ivy is pregnant.
You're going to be a father.
Thank you, Ivy. Thank you for giving me everything.
Do you think it'll be a boy or a girl?
Either is fine, as long as they're smart and beautiful like you.
Alexander, do you think we'll always be this happy?
I promise. I'll give you and our child a forever happy future.
Mr. Alexander, as the actual ruler of the Rockefeller family, what are your future plans?
My future is to lead the family to a brighter direction with her and give my child a home full of love.
Happy today?
With you and our child, every day is happy.
By the way, where was that place you said we should have gone the first time?
I'll take you tomorrow.
There, where my parents got married. I always wanted to bring you here to renew my vows to you.
Alexander?
Ivy, no matter what the future holds, I will always love you and protect you. Will you marry me again?